Welcome on the corner, the place where we take a pragmatic approach to discussing the issues at hand. I am George.
And I am Dean. Today we'll be asking a few questions and highlighting a few happenings in recent time. We have seen where we have a new definition of criminals and criminality in our country. We have seen where criminals have taken on a different persona, almost like monsters that we have never seen before. We see an increase in mass execution of individuals on a daily basis. We see where we're looking at Cherry Tree Lane massacre in recent time, where we have a number of people shot and too many people lost their lives as a result. We want to ask some question tonight as to how it is that the police and the government of Jamaica go about revisiting or continuing how they police criminals in the country that we reside in today, George.
Yeah, that's a very, very important question to ask in light of what's been happening in our country within the last couple of weeks. Things have really gotten out of hand. But before we even start off on the heavy note, let's lighten it up a little bit. Dean, I want to ask you a question. Did God give you any message to deliver to Vibes Cartel?
God gave me a message to deliver to Vibes Cartel.
No?
No, I did not get a message from Vibes
Cartel. Did you get
Cartel.
any message from Jesus for Vibes Cartel?
Did I get a message from Jesus for Vibes Cartel? No, I did not get a message from Jesus.
Not the angels either? Nobody?
I did not get anything
so
from
you
Vibes
and I
Cartel.
are probably the very two of the two individuals on the planet that did not get a divine message to deliver to Vibes Cartel, because every time I turn on the TV, somebody get a divine message to Vibes Cartel. Okay, that's what I light it up before we start. But yes, mass shootings. That's the show for today. That's what we want to take a look at today. That's the new
norm.
Yeah, it's not a good norm.
It's
not one that we want to get used to.
Not at all.
Because there's no easy resolution to tackle or any method, simple method to tackle this kind of violence. We see where the PM came out and he said, he made some statements that most Jamaicans would agree with. He said, you either see a judge or meet your maker. Most of us agree with that. However, our favorite person, Miss Jackson from the JFJ again. Again, she has to show exactly where our loyalties lie. And she came out and she made it sound as if, our exact wording was that it's government badness, which is so, it's just taking it in a wrong direction. Like that. It's so disrespectful to the victims and families of the Cherry Tree Lane massacre. When she came out, and after the Prime Minister said that, she came out and made those kind of statements. No, nobody's advocating for extrajudicial killing or the police to go out there and start killing people indiscriminately. That's not what was said. But these killers with high-powered weapons, when the police do go for you, and we hear from Minister Chang, and we hear from the people of the JCF utter over and over again that they're well trained And when they come for you, if you do not decide to go peacefully,
It's sent a mass.
they're chained to, you understand, to do what's next. And I see where it doesn't matter who the person is, who these criminals are, where they're from or whatever. They're going to be people who are going to come forward and testify to their innocence. They're always going to be those people.
Before you get to those people, because I'm happy that the representative from the Jamaicans for Justice came out and said what she said, because it creates conversation, because we as a country, we as a people are experiencing and living, the few of us that are left are living through the kind of criminality that exists today, where there is no regard for life. It means very little to the criminals who are coming for whoever they have beef, for lack of a better word, with. Mm-hmm. Or the problem is not only that they're in warring against the persons, the individuals from the community, but now the war exists and extends to the entire community, where it doesn't matter who lose their life.
Yeah.
Like anybody from the community can be gunned down.
Children. Yeah.
The age, there is no limit on age, as long as they're an individual from any community to just...
Yeah, soft targets are not exempted. Children and old people are just are just viewed the same. But there are there's no differentiation between who the targets are. They're gonna gun down who they can gun down. Let's put it that way.
So if we have criminals with no regard for life, how can we have Jamaicans defending the kind of policing that would... Well, let me get to what the Prime Minister said, that if you make a decision to meet a judge or meet a maker, no, is this entertaining extrajudicial killing, or is this saying that the police are going to be relentless and there will be nowhere for you to hide?
Well, that's basically what the PM is trying to say, that they will relentlessly try to get you, to find you and bring you to justice. However, there are people in society who, it doesn't matter what the PM says, their job and their agenda is to twist it and turn it into something that that goes beyond what's being said, because it suits a political agenda.
If we dissect what the PM actually said, because the PM did give options, the PM did present to anybody who is a criminal in the country that you have the option to face a judge or meet a maker, which is exactly how crime and crime fighting works in any country. Exactly. Because if the police officers come for you, you can make a decision there and then, or even before the police officers come for you, to face a judge.
That's right.
You can bring yourself in with your attorney and face a judge. This is how crime and criminality is fought in any civil society. So what the Prime Minister actually said
was not
even ambiguous.
Yeah,
it's not ambiguous or egregious. It is just as straightforward as how crime is fought everywhere internationally. You either step and meet the judge, or if you resist, then the police have every right to meet you with deadly force.
But you see, it doesn't it doesn't, the people with opposing agendas, it doesn't serve their purpose. So
no,
they will twist it and turn it the way they, quote unquote, see or for it to work in their favor, and make it sound like the PM is actually saying something egregious, when the truth is that the type of criminality that, as you said earlier, that exists today, regular policing no longer fits the bill. Like, you cannot just, it can't be the regular JCF anymore. It has to be a more advanced JCF, a more tactical JCF,
but
a more intelligence-driven JCF.
Before you get to JCF, let's look at the type of criminality that we have existing now. Let's revisit quickly the Cherry Tree Lane massacre, where criminals would gun down 16 people, would turn high-power machine guns on 16 people.
I think it's 17.
17. And we don't have 8 of them here anymore.
That's right.
No, not long ago, a few days ago, we have was Christopher Martin's grandmother was having a wake, and 8 people. Yeah. Again, one is no longer with us.
Yeah.
You understand? No, a few weeks ago in Negril, we have I don't know what the bandits are called, but we know that there have been a group of people targeting the beryllium security security trucks recently. And we see where the CTAC led operation and how that went. Now, those of us who saw the video and heard the barrage of gunfire, it's no secret to them the kind of criminal and the tools that these criminals are working with. Also the mindset of these criminals, because we see where on many other, as Jamaica would say, works with them gamash.
Works, yeah.
Works with them gamash.
It works.
The works with them gamash. Because I don't know how criminality it gets caught up with working. Because I know a few people who work.
Yeah, because
that's not their approach.
Because for a career criminal,
that is work.
That's their job.
So my apology then.
Work.
Thank you for educating me. So I guess the works with them gamash.
Yeah.
When them go upon works,
yes,
people lose loved ones.
That's right.
Every single time that they go on work, people lose a mother,
innocent
a father, somebody don't have an uncle, somebody lost an aunt. Now, in light of the kind of criminals that we're dealing with and the kind of criminality that exists, how can the JDF, the JCF, and the government police this guy? Because obviously the government is a part of the police, because everybody that deals with the justice in the country is police in the country.
Yeah, well, you know, the PM under the current government structure, the PM is the head of the JDF, and I think the Minister of National Security would be deemed the head of the JCF, right? I am not 100%.
But even without the details of that,
So it's all tied into the government on that, all right, and the leadership under which I guess their directive is being made. But policing cannot be the same. It definitely cannot. And we see where that CTAC-led operation in Negril, we saw where intelligence played a very important role in the JCF, foiling that operation. And that was a job well done, because based on intel, they were able to stop potential, bank beryllium robbery again. So intelligence has to be on the forefront.
Focus again. Let's get back to the point. But the truth of the matter is, not only did they stop the robbery, because what has been consistent with every single one of these robberies is that somebody was left motherless, fatherless, or uncles.
All the while, and the use of high-powered weapons, high-powered weaponry in our society is just it's too much. Like the criminals are now, criminals are parading around with $1 million rifle.
Do you realize now
$1 million weaponry?
Do you realize now that the artillery of the Jamaican criminal rivals that of the defense force of our country?
That's true.
When I say rival, I mean that they match them pound for pound.
Yeah, because they have high-powered weaponry, and these high-powered weapons are very, very expensive. No rifle is cheap. You understand? The average cost of let's say an AR-15 is anywhere from $2,500 upward. And some of them goes up in the thousands of US. I'm talking, and people are running around with these weapon like it's nothing.
If you have a smartphone, you have seen a video.
Yeah, so it's fair to say that these criminals are not sufferers. They're not turning to a life of crime because, quote unquote, they're hungry.
If you want to
understand?
know, if you want to know if that is supported, there's an alleged voice note that was leaked recently after the young soldier
recently a young
the young soldier died in Denham Town, or from Denham Town. Is it
something like that? Yeah,
the young soldier died in a gun battle with criminal elements. No. And there's allegedly a voice message that leaked with a conversation between a JDF member, alleged JDF member, and a member of the gang that gunned this young man down.
Right.
And if you listen to the utterances of that gang member, where he said that, listen, whenever,
it's there,
whichever,
it's very there.
The conversation even went to when he said that, let me see who you are, and he said, let me tell you what I can do for you. This criminal said in the voice note, the criminal apparently said that, don't worry, when me I take yours, me will make you look in my face and see it. Now, this is the mindset of the individuals that the Jamaican police and Jamaica Defense Force
have to be
dealing with on a daily. Right. Now, where is it that do you keep the gloves on? Does the police keep the gloves on or take the gloves off when dealing with these kind of criminals?
And again, it's a very delicate situation because, in one hand, we don't want to see, a rising number in the extrajudicial killings. We don't want to see police get what they call it now, proverbial license to kill, so to speak. Because regardless of what it is, you can't. Everything has to be controlled. No one should get the right to do whatever. So there has to be parameters. We do have Indicom that play a very important role in
police in
the police, so to speak, and of course the JCF, has gotten much better at addressing these extremely violent criminals we have seen where. Even in the case of the Cherry Tree Lane massacre, we see where like a day or two later, one of the suspects, he got taken out by the JCF because apparently when they went for him, he chose to meet his maker, I would say.
You see, that is where I'm coming from. He made a decision. Yeah, the Prime Minister made a proposal. He made a choice.
Yes.
The Prime Minister made a proposal. He made a choice.
Right.
And so why is the Prime Minister being flagged for that now?
As I say, we are not to pay too much attention to the JFJ because the JFJ has proven themselves to be a rogue organization with an hidden agenda, and they have been fueled by likeliness for the opposition, and I think that's where their loyalties lie. So I don't know. They have moved from being an advocate for justice amongst Jamaicans who face injustice to now they're political, I don't know, political watchdogs or, I don't know how to categorize them, but the voice there is very polarized.
I understand.
It's not cool.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
You see, to be wary of how policing happens, because we don't want a situation where the police are targeting inner city communities.
Right.
But we're not talking about inner city communities. We're talking about criminals who have been identified.
No. Well, not just inner city, but criminals in general.
That's what I'm saying. Criminals who have been identified.
And look at it this way now, right? And I'm glad you touched on that whole inner city argument, because it always goes back to inner city. But we're seeing in Jamaica now where it's beyond inner city.
It's beyond the inner city,
it's
because
Clarendon.
It's Montego Bay.
Montego Bay, St.
It's
James,
Hanover.
Negril. Like, what's going on?
And
how come these rural parishes that used to be
are no significant players in the criminal game?
Yeah.
What you said earlier, which holds so much weight, is that crime is no longer driven by poverty.
Not at all.
Because the weaponry, the tools, the tools of these young people's trade.
You have $1.5 million
are extremely expensive.
Rifle,
and everybody has one.
Yeah.
Everybody has one. You will hear the Jamaica constabulary speaks of the number of guns that are on the street, and the amount of guns that they confiscate can't keep up with the amount of new guns that are arriving on our streets daily.
And that has to stop.
Recently, there was the recent cocaine bust in Jamaica with billions of dollars worth of Jamaican billions worth of cocaine was found.
Right.
And it is these things that is said to be fueling the importation of guns. And this is the kind of crime that we have dealing with, and it speaks that crime is not known in a vacuum. It's organized crime.
Right.
If you're not sure, look at the beryllium situation.
Right.
Crime is organized. When somebody pulls up and spray an entire community, that is not the decision of one man. Now, if you have enough bullets to hit 16 or 17 people and still leave with some, and remember, not everyone connected.
Right.
You understand how many?
That's not an accurate percent.
We talk about the amount of guns on the street. But every time an ammunition is used, it is now discarded. And they still have more. These aren't reusable.
Years ago when Jamaica made a turn for the worse, when Jamaica became gun savvy, the average Jamaican decided that it was okay that he should go out and seek or try to, gain access to a gun, because the government made it legal for the average citizen to apply for a firearm. And that in itself was a terrible decision for our country. You understand? And most people are going to disagree with me and say, you know what? Oh, no. Because criminals have gun, me have gun too.
But that's the argument. Said that.
It's always been the argument.
If criminals are coming with high power weaponry, why shouldn't the average Jamaican man equip himself just to give himself a fighting chance?
Because it was done before in history. History has taught us that there once was a time when especially in the United States, everybody was armed. Man, woman, and child. That was the first of all, the rights to bear arms. Okay? And everybody had a gun, and who don't have a 6-shooter on their hip. But yet still, there were those who were better than. And those who were better than, you know what they did? They prey upon those who weren't as so good.
But
and guess what? It play out itself. You understand?
But
there is no win.
The liberty at which people could get guns then is a total different channel through which these people are getting guns now.
But yes,
and we don't want to say. We don't want to say. Well, the people who got guns through those channels before, based on age, are not the people that are in the street right now executing innocent people, women, children, babies.
Yeah.
Right? There is no fear for the people who had those guns then.
No.
But there is a healthy fear for the ones who have guns now.
Yeah, but
and we know, go
the
ahead.
analogy is that the fact that if everybody is armed, that's not going to be the solution. Because even today, if everybody is armed and yet say everybody have a rifle over them shoulder, there's still gonna be those who are more proficient.
Even without proficiency, there's going to always be a limitation on
what
type of machinery you can get legally.
But I'm just saying, hypothetically, if every person get access to the same weaponry, there's still going to be advantage to those who are more proficient.
I agree.
And what usually happens, has proven itself in the Wild West and coming up anywhere where guns was just legal for everybody to have, those who were more proficient, they become the outlaws. They become the one that prey upon the ones that were less proficient.
Well,
so harming everybody was not.
I don't think arming everybody is the solution either, because if you arm everybody, then what is going to happen is the people with the most proficiency is going to now have 2 guns.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
Since we can't address it with arming everybody, I again dare ask the question: how does the police in Jamaica execute their duty in a way to deal with this type of criminality in a way that satisfies the Jamaican people, that we don't have people screaming foul play? We want justice, because every time another alleged criminal is cut down, there is going to be a protest for people wanting justice for who they allege to be an innocent youth. I can't address 99% of these people are guilty or innocent, whether they are good people or not, because I don't know them. I get the news as everybody else gets the news. But there's always a group of people proclaiming their innocence.
That's right.
You understand? How does the police navigate their duties to find, apprehend, or allow some of these individuals to meet their maker, if that is their choice, without the country being in an uproar?
Well, first, let's address the people who come out and protest on the behalf, protest the innocence, of the alleged criminal. Some of these people, they should be arrested too. You
So
understand?
your proposal, your proposal to fight crime.
Listen, because you know what? Every man is innocent until proven guilty, of course. But again, and you do have the right for peaceful protest. But we know that most of these protests are not peaceful at all. And they usually take place with burning of stuff, destroying government road, blocking off road, restricting pedestrian, restricting traffic flow, stuff like that. So people who go out and do these things on behalf of, in defense of alleged criminals, they should be arrested. Okay? And you should be fined. Because you know what? At some point in time, somebody has to draw the line. And I'm not saying that if your son or daughter is arrested, that you should just lay back and do nothing. I am saying seek the proper channels. There are proper ways of proving the innocence of your loved ones if they are indeed innocent. You know, these mothers and these aunts and these grandmothers are the people that come out, and I mean, they will swear on anything that their babies are angels. You understand? But what happened to the mothers of their victims? What should they do?
You know that the victims are sadly always ignored.
What the mothers and the aunts and the grandmothers of their victims, what should they do? What course, what channels do they follow? So, you know, for the mothers, if you really believe in the innocence of your child, take them in to face the judge.
So hold on.
So you can prove your innocence in court. But when you hide them under the mattress, and the man that there with the AR-15 and hide, when the police come, and you decide to run out there, go do all kind of antics in his defense, then guess what? You put your life at risk.
That's a beautiful point you just made, John.
Because it happens every day.
That's a beautiful point.
It happens every day.
Because my question was, how can the police execute their duty in a way that satisfies the Jamaican people? No. Even before the police get involved, what you just said, even before the police get involved, instead of proclaiming your child, your niece, your nephew, your friend, your neighbor, whoever that loved one is to you, instead of proclaiming his innocence after the fact, when he is no longer here, because whether it was his decision to go the route of meeting his maker, or if it is that the populace feels as if he was executed extrajudicially. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right? Why isn't mothers, aunts, and sisters proclaiming their loved ones innocent before the judge? Why not bring them in?
That's right.
Why not bring them in?
Instead
of proclaiming their innocence after the fact.
Yeah. Bring them in.
If
you know for a fact that he's
choose
innocent,
the channel.
And this guy that they put up on the TV, the most wanted poster, is your son or your brother or whatever, bring him in then. Since you're so confident that he is being wrongly accused. Bring him in.
So
save his life.
So here we are, you assistant.
Save his life, right?
So if the Jamaican police execute their duties by doing their legwork of identifying who they deem criminals, because I'm not going to say that they are criminals. After the Jamaican police do their legwork to determine who they deem criminal and go out and execute them or arrest them, if you had done your due diligence, you had done your civil service, if you had done your loved one a favor by taking them in, they wouldn't have the police doing what everybody's up in arms about now.
Well, you know, one of the things that we can both attest to as regular people that grow up in Jamaica, we grew up in not so well-to-do communities, you know.
Far from well-to-do.
So we do understand the operations of what goes on in these communities. And
it's not theoretical to us. We lived it.
Yeah. So, you know, and trust me, the man where do they do, people know.
Everybody know who do they do.
People know. But the culture of you're not supposed to be a snitch.
But the thing is, if he is family and not snitching, you're protecting him.
Exactly.
So if it is that you have a loved one who is accused of wrongdoing, be proactive.
Be proactive.
You make sure that loved one faces the judge. But that you don't need to know.
But Dean, most of the time, they know that, yeah, really, you know. I'm for true. But we can't make it go so. Them can't just come kill me, brother, so. At least At least give him a chance.
I've heard.
How many times did you hear that?
I've been in conversation. I've been in conversations before, where the police have taken out individuals, right? And as usual, everybody that the police have ever taken out, they have done so under questionable situation. The Jamaican police have never justifiably taken anybody out. It is a weird thing when it comes to the Jamaican people, because even if the Jamaican people have him on video involved in criminality and the police take him out, he was a good youth.
Yeah, man. I know him.
The police did wrong.
That's right.
The police was overly aggressive.
That's right.
And I remember hearing of somebody that everybody in the community know was a murderer.
That's right.
They spoke of his most recent works when him go mash. Everybody know about the works. Everybody spoke of the works. The police took him out. Everybody in the community said the police never affy. The police never affy give him so much. Hold on. The police never affy give him so much shot. You know how he died? In a shootout with the police. He was involved in a shootout with the police. So now, should the police count how many rounds they send in his direction?
I've heard.
In a shootout, they gave him too much shot.
Yeah. I've heard they couldn't shoot him in the hand or in foot. Made him have to do him.
So the Jamaican police have impeccable aim.
Yeah.
The Jamaican police have impeccable aim and chooses everywhere.
Because we have become a culture that is so accepting of brutality and criminal behavior coming from our young people, that we are a nation of criminal sympathizers. Unfortunately, that's what we have become. We have become a nation of people that welcome those who reign on our society, rain criminality and terror on our society. And we appreciate them and we laud them, and we protect them and shelter them and treat them like they're kings and give them respect, and the young women love them. You understand? Because they make...
It is a scary dynamics that the most attractive... It's a scary dynamic that the most attractive people in some communities are the persons who are behaving the worst. If
culture.
If his isn't the longest, and if his criminal activity doesn't make him the most money, because like I said before, a person who lives a life of crime and he is in the business of crime, then the more money him have, is the more attractive he is in some communities.
Because he's
and it's not only inner city communities.
No, it's
because
everywhere.
there are some affluent communities that criminals are moving into. It's been documented. It's in recent time.
The
criminals are moving into the most affluent communities right now.
They're migrating to those places.
You understand? So it is not because of poverty that drives their criminal enterprise and their criminality. It is a love for this, and it is also fueled by the fact that there are people out there who laud them as kings.
Many people.
People. I've been in many places and hear people speak of former criminals, not in infamy, but they laud them, they glorify them. They will even compare the exploits of criminals as to who was the biggest and baddest, and they will tell you that the man there, nobody like
this
that the man there.
And that's the conversation
and
on many corners.
Many corners.
Yeah.
You understand? We really do have a culture where we glorify, almost sanctify criminals,
and that needs to stop.
It's scary because just listening to the utterances right now, I wonder if the Jamaican police force if the judiciary, if the government can ever satisfactorily fight crime in a way that the Jamaican people will be satisfied with their method of dealing with crime and criminality.
And I'm gonna say this. You know, the opposition has a role to play, and follow me here. The opposition has a role to play in government. You know, a lot of people don't realize that they do have an effective role to play in government. You understand? And that role does not necessarily mean that they must oppose everything. You understand? That role should also comes in with support of things that would definitely deem beneficial.
But that's governance. You have to come across the aisle.
To the country, right? But we have an opposition in Jamaica right now that opposes everything. It doesn't matter what. SOEs are effective, proven over and over again. Criminals have been apprehended under these SOEs. And the opposition opposed to the point where it's like they are trying to say the government is illegally restricting law-abiding citizens.
But there have been, but
you
it's been documented that many people from
right.
many volatile communities have celebrated the SOEs.
Every angle of that this current administration has taken to combat the wave, the crime wave that's overrunning the country, it has been strongly opposed by the opposition, and it that speaks volume as to the kind of politics that we are dealing with.
But to be honest, this new surge, this new monster, this new design, this new idea, this concept of crime that we have seen really came about under this administration, is when we have seen the ugliest in recent years of what. And I'm not blaming the administration, I'm just saying that there's been a rebirth of sort in, I don't even know if it's a rebirth, because this kind of criminality is brand new to me.
Yeah, so
this kind of criminality is brand new.
Yeah.
It's
a metamorphosis of
yes,
what?
This is a mutation of criminality that we have never seen. It's different. And I'm not saying there isn't room for foreign politicians to go across the aisle to make decision a bipartisan decision for crime, because this is serious. But
if the country is gonna move forward and effectively fight crime, one party can't do it.
There's no way. One party doesn't govern.
No way.
One party can't govern either. Exactly. So like you rightfully said, one party can't govern. A government is built. It's basically the opposition and the leading party.
Yeah, but if every time something effective is implemented and it's been struck down, right, by the opposition, how do you move forward?
So how does the opposition play a role?
They have to support
getting. Wait. How does the opposition play a role in assisting the leading government with crime fighting methods, and how they can arm the police with the equipment that they need? Not guns, not necessarily guns, just the crime fighting equipment that they need to properly fight crime, to properly operate, bring these criminals to books.
Stop opposing.
To get the Jamaican people on board, to get the country on board with however policing is happening. That people can see the police arresting, possibly if there are criminals who resist being arrested and make the independent decision of meeting their maker, that the Jamaican people can still feel satisfied that, yes, the police executed their job in a satisfactory way. We have a government that is pushing for legislation for policing to happen. We have an opposition that is on board with crime fighting. And this makes how can the opposition satisfy that?
You just said it. Be on board. That's as simple. It's not rocket science, no. It's not rocket science. It's as simple as that. Be on board. And if you're going to oppose something, then oppose it with a solution, with something better.
So don't just oppose it. Replace it.
Replace it.
Make proposals.
But that does not benefit them because they're not the ruling government.
I've heard it many times.
You understand? So they just use their judicial power now to stop things. Okay.
There's this consistency. There's this consistency with the opposition that I've noticed. And it is, they did, every time something is brought forward to fight crime, like even when they had the SOE, like constant zone of operation, that was, constantly in place because there was this real surge of crime everywhere, all at once. There were like little fire everywhere, right? And the government had to make a decision. The opposition's argument was, on many occasions, they didn't speak to us about it. No, we have a surge of crime happening. Isn't it prudent of the government to make the decision? And if you are spoken to afterwards, I don't know, is this how government works?
No, absolutely not.
Can the government make a decision?
Not an effective one. Not an effective one. But you know what? We are too complacent when it comes to what goes on with our government and with the parties, with the opposition and the ruling government. We have to take a more, as you said earlier, a more proactive approach to what we need to see from the JCF and how they go about business. What special whether it be special equipment or more protective legal powers, to go about their day-to-day. And it has to be bipartisan. It has to be something that is going to work for the country.
The government and the opposition need to look seriously at this very thing that is before us constantly. It is something that is overlooked. It's extremely big, but the Jamaican people see it as commonplace.
Yeah, because you become immune to it.
But this is the point I'm making. The fact that every time there is a group of police officers executing their duties, there's also a platoon with them. Do you know the significance of what that speaks of? That speaks to extremity.
Yeah, it is extreme.
It speaks to extremity. If every time there's a group of police officers out on duty, they need to be accompanied by a group of soldiers. It speaks to the level of criminality that is happening, that we need to deploy the army internally to fight day-to-day crime in the country. It is not something that happened in isolation, that there was a surge. And every time the police officers are out, they're accompanied by soldiers. Yeah. Every zone of operation that there is has soldiers posted in civil communities. Yeah. And people might see it and just feel like, oh, they're the guys in green that are here. It speaks to the extreme situation of criminality and crime that we have right now. It's not business as usual to see soldiers posted with police every day.
It's unfortunate.
And the Jamaican people have now taken it for granted that the soldiers are also a different branch of the JCF. And that is scary.
That is scary.
The JDF is another branch of the JCF. Yeah. Soldiers are not police. The soldiers aren't supposed to be out there every single day. The responsibility of the soldiers is not the same responsibility of the police.
That's right.
This is saying that the police officers need help.
That's right.
Now we have two existing branches of the JCF existing in our country because of how heavy criminality is.
Because JCF and JDF do not operate under the same legalities.
Exactly.
If the soldiers are there, it shows that the criminality is extreme.
That is exactly what the soldiers represent.
Yeah, the soldiers don't have to explain too much,
And the soldiers don't arrest. Soldiers cannot. Their responsibility is not to apprehend, and they don't arrest.
Exactly.
So that speaks to the extreme situation that we have existing now. To see soldiers in the streets is so commonplace. Everywhere there is crime, there is a batch of soldiers existing.
But what's sad, Dean, is the fact that the extreme criminality has to be fought with extreme policing and extreme force. So we do need that, unfortunately. We do need the JDF out there with the JCF. As it looks terrible and it sends the wrong message. But nevertheless, that is the message.
It's a necessary evil right now.
that needs to be, because what we are being overrun with is nothing normal. When you have people thinking and believing and acting that, okay, my life of crime, or I'm going to choose a life of crime because that's what I want to do. You understand? In most places, people who choose criminality choose to do so because it's like they're cornered. It's now it's like they're cornered. They don't have any choices. So this is what I am forced to do because I don't have opportunities, and the choices are so are so limited.
You're talking about
here.
the past.
Yes, in most places, but in Jamaica, this is not the case.
You're not making reference to where we're from.
No, right? No, it's
fashionable.
I choose criminality.
It's fashionable
because
it's the new fad. It is what
trendy,
is attractive.
It's attractive, and we have to stop this, man.
And
it's madness. Nobody's safe anymore, and I don't like that.
But the thing is, and you know what this conversation brings to my attention, which is scary to me. Because the question is still on the table. How can the police execute their duties in a way that would satisfy the mass of the Jamaican people? And just listening to both. I'm listening to me. I'm listening to me, and I'm listening to you. Mm-hmm. And what is scary is that I don't know if the Jamaican police can ever police crime in a way that satisfies the Jamaican people.
That's going to be a hard one.
So what we're looking at is that the government, who heads the police force, it's sad that you can't wait on the people.
No, you have to act. You can't act,
wait
and
on the people.
Yeah, the people are gonna be. Some people are gonna be okay with whatever action is taken because we see that it's necessary and it's needed to combat what's going on, and there are always going to be those people who are going to come and cry foul, doesn't matter what you do, because they just don't like you. I've seen that more, and the more Jamaicans I have conversations with that, and I say, what do you think of the current administration? And you know what? You know who they have a problem with? They have a problem with the PM. They have a problem with his wife. They have a problem with his nose. They have a problem that you have to step back and think and say, wait a minute. So this is the problem that you have? You don't have a problem with crime. You don't have a problem with economy. You have a problem with his appearance. You have a problem with where he lives. And it goes on and on and on. And it's coming from something trivial. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this conversation has to stop right there. You understand? I don't prolong those kind of conversations because they're annoying to say the least. All right? But that kind of thinking has to stop. And if the government is trying something now to combat what's going on, I think that it would be in the benefit of the country for him to get the support that's necessary, not just from the people, but from the opposition as well.
I think that's where the answer lies. I think that I'm not advocating for martial law. I'm not advocating for extrajudicial killings. Right. I'm saying though, These are extreme times. Sorry, I'm not saying these are extreme times, and extreme solutions and methods are required. When I say extreme, I'm not speaking of police acting outside of their responsibility. I'm saying that criminals aren't acting like business as usual, and crime fighting cannot
be a business.
Be business as usual.
Absolutely not.
There is a place to meet criminals where they are. And when the Prime Minister made his utterance of face a judge or meet your maker, ugly as it might sound to some, it is an honest position, and it is a call to action for criminals to make a decision. And I cannot see a problem with it, because an olive branch was extended.
That's right.
You have the option to meet a judge.
That's right.
You can only listen to that side if you choose to.
Yes, sir.
Family members can choose to also bring their accused criminal family members to face a judge, so that they never meet the maker.
That's right. And with that being said, well said, sir. And with that being said, we're going to wrap this one up right here. So again, meet the judge and meet your maker. I like that.
I actually like that. I think it's poetic.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah. So that's gonna be it for another episode of On the Corner. So don't be afraid to drop us a comment.
We really look forward to hearing your position on some of this, because we don't represent the entire people. This is our position on it. We'd love to hear what the mass think, because this is important to us. It's important to the country. It's important to everybody in the diaspora and the people living at home, that we want to know that the Jamaican people feel a particular way, and this will help.
Okay. And until next time, all right.
Please don't forget to
like, share, and subscribe. And we'll meet again next time.
On the Corner.